Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to check out another Mattel Jurassic World set. This time we actually have a Legacy Collection set, and if you watched my unboxing from maybe like a week or so ago from Dino Mike Mac, you would have seen me acquire this set thanks to him, so a huge thank you and shout out goes out to Dino Mike Mac for being absolutely awesome and getting this set over to me so I can finally add it to my collection, because this is actually one of the most rare Mattel sets that you will find anywhere. It was a very, very hard set to get a hold of. Again, being Legacy Collection, it's something that we all kind of expected to hit Targets here in the United States because the Legacy Collection was like a Target thing here. So we kind of thought it would come here. And when it had made a very brief appearance on a website, I forget again what country it was from, but there was like this listing on some website where you could order it, but it was either this one or the Muldoon set you would get. And you couldn't choose which one. You had to either order one and hope you got the one you wanted, or order two, and you were likely to get, you know, both of them, one of each. But they were like $50 or something like that, so it was kind of a pain to even order it because it's a set of just like a repeat Velociraptor, well, a repainted version of a Velociraptor, and an Allen with very minor differences, and it's not something that I was all that intent on getting back then, because in my mind I thought it was only a matter of time before it would hit Targets here in the US. But unfortunately the Mattel line is a mystery, and some stuff just is so hard to get a hold of. You never know what's going to be abundant and what's going to be an absolute pain. This, along with the other Legacy Collection 2-packs from that point in time, which would have been like a Muldoon and Raptor as well as an Ian Malcolm and Raptor set, all became very hard to get a hold of. And this was the one that I did not get a hold of at the time, and I've been kicking myself in the butt for it ever since, until now, again, when Dino Mike Mac had offered a trade for me to finally get this in my collection. And what made this set twice as frustrating was the female Raptor, on top of being impossibly hard to get a hold of at that point in time, also had two paint variants for it, because there was actually the version you see here, and then there was a version that had a little bit more paint on the head, and you have an image right here you can see of what that version looked like. And that again made this twice as frustrating, because if you really want to complete your Mattel collection, I kind of think you need both, but I'm going to have to just be content with owning this one. I don't think I'll ever have the chance to get the painted head version, because these things for this set, they're like $200-300 most times that I see them, and you know, that's just outrageous for a repainted Raptor and an Alan Grant that isn't really that great of a figure to begin with, but it was something that I just really wanted to get in my collection. Super happy to finally have it, so let's jump to a closer look at it right now. So, taking a look at Alan. Alan is primarily the same figure sculpt-wise that we had originally from Mattel, and you can see that as you look at the figure, there's not really any differences that I'm picking up on as far as the sculpt goes. Let's see if we can get the bag here. There we go, off of Alan. But sculpt-wise, you can see he's pretty much the exact same figure. I wouldn't even say pretty much, he is the exact same figure as the original one. And to show you that, here is the original Alan Grant. Now you can see definitely the same sculpt. There's no differences here between the Allens. You can see that the watch is there. You've got the same belt and everything on him. Same wrinkles in the pants, same wrinkles in the shirts. But you can notice that there are differences between the two when it comes to the color. The shade of the blue in the shirt is slightly different, slightly darker on the Alan in this set. You can also see he's got a green hat rather than the classic Alan Grant kind of like tan hat. You can see as we move down here, you've got red right there on the inside of his shirt there. You can also see we've got blue on this version as we move down. I don't know if the watch is different. Looks like maybe they're the same color. You can see that we do have a slightly different tone of color for the belt, as well as a different tone of color for the pants. And then the boots look pretty much the same to me. But that's really the only difference, is the different shades of color used for this Alan, because otherwise it's the same figure, although you can see that there are some numbers on the back of the behind of that Alan compared to the other one. but pretty much the same figure again. The same articulation, same sculpt, just different colors. That's the only thing that really differentiates this Alan Grant from the original one. We do also have the bag, again, that he was carrying in Jurassic Park 3. You can see that the sculpt of this is pretty nice. Definitely looks good overall. It's nothing more than a very dark tone of color, a black. And then you can open it up to expose the eggs that we have inside, which of course would be the raptor eggs. They do come out, if I can get them out. But you can see I can just hang it here and they're not actually falling out. But we do have the eggs inside the pack regardless, and you can close it and it kind of pops back open. But it did close. Now for some reason it doesn't seem to want to anymore. But again, the sculpt and detail of the bag does look pretty good overall. And then the Raptor. The Raptor is absolutely the same sculpt we've had so many times at this point. Tons of times. So nothing really revolutionary with the Raptor. The only difference would be the coloration. Again, we obviously have this painted in a way where it looks like that classic female Jurassic Park 3 Raptor, just with potentially the laziest paint apps that Mattel has ever delivered on a Velociraptor, because you can see here for the face we primarily have like a very light gray. There is a very strong speckling on the figure though. You can see the speckling everywhere. We have the inside of the mouth painted with a nice light pinkish tone, and then of course the teeth with kind of like a yellowish tone. They look pretty good overall. You have a yellow tone there for the eye, as well as a black slit-like pupil, and the eyes are placed, you know, pretty decently, not too bad. Sometimes you get sloppiness with Mattel figures, but that one was okay. Again, you can get the variant with the coloration on the head like we had seen earlier. This one does not have that. As you move back, though, you start to see a very kind of dark gray patterning pick up there in the mid-neck area, and that kind of just like spots and designs here as you move down the course of the Raptor until we get a little bit past the hip heading out into the tail, and then it's gone, and then you see a few of those little areas here of patterning as we lead down into the thigh, and then it's also gone. The speckling is absolutely as abundant as it gets through the entire figure, so you do have that speckling everywhere, but there's no nail paint or anything. Nothing really else going on with this as far as coloration goes. So probably one of the laziest paint apps I've seen on a Jurassic Park Raptor or Jurassic World Raptor when it comes to Mattel. Really not much going on as far as the coloration goes. So it's not really the most desirable Raptor, but definitely something that, again, I was just pretty much dying to get into my collection just because I missed it, and I like to have my Mattel line as complete as possible, and even though this isn't the best set in the world, it's something that just irritated me for years, so even though it's kind of lackluster overall, it's still something that I'm pretty happy to have. So I didn't feel like we really needed to do any size comparisons, measurements, any of that stuff, because it's a standard Alan Grant and standard Raptor figure from the Mattel line. This far in, I'd like to think we have a pretty good idea as far as what the sizes of those figures are. But this set is one of those sets that I feel like is probably only really important to people that are like intent on completing the Mattel line, because first of all, it's a Velociraptor set. We have so many Velociraptors from Mattel, and in fact we have superior Jurassic Park 3 female Velociraptors compared to this one. But at the time that this was released, it was our very first chance to own a female Raptor from JP3 from Mattel. So at the time, you know, it was a really exciting set. Years later, it has gone up in price drastically, but in my opinion, it's a less exciting set now, especially with the recent release of the Hammond Collection Alan and JP3 Female Raptor, which is definitely much better than this set. But that being said, again, it is something that definitely holds its place in Mattel Jurassic World toy history. It's definitely something that played a pretty big part in stressing out many collectors for an extended period of time, myself included, because like I said, the set was just so hard to get a hold of. But now, years later, looking back on it, and now having so many other versions of Raptors released by Mattel, and now having like Hammond Collection versions, Hammond Collection, Alan Grants and stuff, the set doesn't seem half as cool as it once was. But that said, again, it's still something that I was like desperately wanting to add to my collection just because I missed out on it so long ago, and I am really happy to finally have this missing piece of my Mattel Jurassic World puzzle. If this is something you are interested in picking up, it's going to be a little bit tough to find because, again, it is just generally a very hard set to find, especially a hard set to find at a decent price. They do pop up, but the prices are usually usually quite outrageous. I don't know with the release of the Hammond Collection set if maybe the prices have gone down a little bit for this, but I would be very surprised because most people that are trying to make a buck off of it are usually intent on getting top dollar regardless. But if you are interested, again, you can search around on eBay or different Facebook groups and stuff where people might sell Jurassic stuff, and hopefully you'll encounter it. Again, it took me a long time to get a hold of it, but I finally have it here, and I couldn't be happier about that fact. So if you are interested, good luck finding one. I hope you do find one, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.